Her mission? To dismantle the broken agencies and rebuild a system that serves the people, not power. Stand with me. Welcome to the Stand With Meg Show, where we defend parents' rights, protect children, and be the voice for the voiceless. I'm your host, Meg. Today, I'm joined with someone who isn't waiting for permission to make a change. She's stepping into the fire for our families. Dr. Teri Ann is a mother, survivor, and an advocate who has filed to run for governor of Arizona. She's also filed lawsuits against the state of Arizona's Behavioral Health Board for violating her rights for free speech. She's working hard to get on the ballot. She needs your signatures, and she needs our help. Let's dive in. We're so excited to have you. Dr. Teri is on with us today from Arizona. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited.
Well, I was so excited to see your video. It took a lot for somebody to reach out to me saying, Megan, you have to see this woman. And when I watched it, I was blown away, and I was so proud to meet another person standing up. And then I went down your rabbit hole. I went and heard all your stories, watched your videos and stuff. And I did that when I was doing makeup because I don't usually have time to do all that. But your story stood out, and I was really impressed. So can you tell me just a little bit of, you're a doctor, but kind of give me a rundown on your story so that people don't have to go through every TikTok to figure it out?
Sure. Yeah. And thanks for having me here. This was exciting. So my story starts with being in recovery since 2008. So 17 and a half years in recovery, gave my life to Jesus. And on May 21st, 2008, and in recovery for drugs and alcohol. And from that moment, I wanted to serve people and serve the community and help people get sober. I went and continued with my school and got my master's in counseling, became a licensed therapist, and then continued to get a PhD in counselor education and supervision, and then opened up a practice in 2017.
And that what I remember, it got pretty big. You had a lot of employees. How big was it at one point?
Yeah, the largest we got was 250 employees in 2023.
That is impressive. I don't know how you manage that. Okay, so then kind of tell me, so you have a wonderful practice, things are rocking and rolling, you feel like you got to do what God's wanted you to do. What happened?
Yeah, so on September 22nd, 2023, I got a call from an employee that said we're on the Medicaid suspension list, which was an allegation of fraud. And knowing we didn't commit fraud, it was a traumatic experience nonetheless. We waited 5 weeks to get discovery from Medicaid access in Arizona, which basically tells you what's going on. And that's when I figured out there was something going on in our software, billing software. It was a software error that was occurring, which was confirmed. We ended up finding the software error. There was two. I can't name the software because we're in litigation, but within 5 months, they admitted that it happened verbally. And within 3 months, I told Access about this and remained on the suspension list despite this causing the flag in the system of Access. So my company was pretty demolished from that moment on. It's still running today by the grace of God, but I have about 5 employees and 15 contractors. So
why do you think this happened? Does it, in my opinion, they like to target good people that are actually telling the truth. Do you think there's anything like that involved here?
And on a large scale, yes, with Access Medicaid in terms of so originally I was flagged due to a software error in my system, which didn't amount to any more money coming in. It's just how the claims were submitted and looking in Access, flagged the system. And then from that moment on, I just couldn't get off this list. Today, 2 years and 7 days later, I've been completely cleared of fraud. But yet then they terminated my company, which is why I filed lawsuits against them, because I've been cleared, yet I should have the money coming back to me. We provided services for over 2 years to their members. And this is happening on a wide scale, hundreds, thousands. I mean, I would say there's right under or over 1,000 providers right now that are on these lists. where
they're struggling on the list saying that they can't do it anymore, that they're in trouble.
Yeah, same situation as me, suspended or allegation of fraud or terminated or excluded. Now, some of them should be, but a lot of them, in my opinion, are there and shouldn't be. So
Okay.
it's happening on a wide scale, and they're just leaving people on these lists. And part of, like Senator Warner, there's been 2 hearings, and there's a 3rd hearing coming up on November 12th in the Senate, and they're archived as well from 8/18 and 10/1 hearings of the Senate. You can go on Arizona State and watch the legislative meetings, but they talk about this to access directly under testimony. Access admits to allowing the fraud to continue for years. I mean, for taxpayer dollars, minus everything that's happening bad to the providers, but the state of Arizona, as a tax-paying citizen, we should be very concerned that these people continue to run these systems.
Right.
And yet you're not doing anything.
Right. So when you say Medicaid, that means people could use their insurance to pay for help, pay for care, correct?
Yeah. So in the state of Arizona, Medicaid is, there's 7 managed care companies, which is MCOs. And then there's Medicaid as a hub, essentially. Yeah.
So see, that's cool. Cause all the court mandated therapy that I've had to go through.
Yeah.
We don't have that. I mean, my credit cards went from 0 credit card debt in 2022 to 80,000.
Wow.
And half of that is just therapy stuff that I can't get out. Like they won't. And so it's crazy. Cause I was like, I even got one of my reunification therapists with this, he has a big as well, like you,
yeah.
It's big. He canceled my second time I would be able to see my kids because I hadn't paid my $400 bill. And I'd already spent $5,000 just meeting with him privately once a week. I don't know. It was insane. But so he canceled it. I didn't get to go. And I'm like, I told you I was going to pay it when I got there. And so that's cool. You guys have that, but yet they're hurting people that have it.
Well, our system in Arizona is for mental health and substance abuse recovery programs is pretty much caving in and demolishing, in my opinion. I mean, people can't get help. Providers aren't getting paid it's happening. It's not 100% of providers, but the claims are delayed significantly.
Right, but as I'm saying, even though you guys have something to help the people, then now the state's coming in and saying, no, we're going to keep the money. And you're going to still work,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
But we're going to keep the money.
Yes, they never paid me back for all the money.
Same thing.
very same thing. Yeah. So let me terminate you after we clear you,
right?
And then just ruin it anyways. So that's why I started speaking out. Is had they not terminated me and done, in my opinion, retaliated against me in the end there, I probably wouldn't have been here, right? I probably would be running my business and not going on a campaign to change Arizona or running for governor as a result, because I want to change things.
Well, and I think that's what I try to tell people. This is not just a family court issue.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved your story, because there is actually another woman that's gotten pretty big on TikTok. Her government just came in and stole her house, took her house completely and demolished it. And she has to still pay a mortgage on it.
Wow.
And she talks about this whole thing, and I haven't dissected it, but her story, she reaches out to me because she knows like the same feeling that you have.
Yeah.
So we're all losing our rights, and until people realize, like you wouldn't have stood up and understood what was going on until you went through it. And so that's what my platform is trying to expose, how all of us are affected by this.
Yeah.
And we will be we all will, unless we don't stop it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So what made you stand up to say, I'm going to run for governor and not the Senate or any of that?
Well, probably because I feel like that's the position that's over all these agencies that are causing so much harm. And I see each division or person, even underneath Katie Hobbs, as a problem. So if those people are remaining, I don't see that this issue is going to resolve for thousands of providers in Arizona. And that was my first go-to, is these providers and these patients that are suffering in Arizona. There's thousands of them, and our programs are suffering. But obviously there's so many other family court issues. I'm working, I don't know if you've heard of Sherry Lund. Sherry Lund she does exactly what you do with court advocacy.
Oh, cool. I'd like to talk to her.
Yeah. She's
Arizona's
amazing.
getting loud. You guys are really.
Yeah, she's been doing it for years, Sherry Lund, but I'll get you in contact. She'd probably love to talk with you too.
One thing I wanted, when you talked about running for governor, people don't realize the governor is over these agencies.
Correct.
So, especially like in my state, DCF, which is CPS, the governor's over that.
Yep.
What is all the agencies are governors? So that means I'd like people to understand simple terms. So when you say the governor is over agencies, what agency or what do you mean over?
Yeah, I mean, so if we think of it like a company with a CEO, I mean, she would be like the CEO over all these companies, essentially, she's on a organizational chart of access. She's at the very top. At, DES, she's at the very top. She is the lead, signs all the forms, is on all the forms, and
can veto bills, because
yes.
I will say I was I'm always in Arizona for some reason, all your statues and stuff, and I saw a bill this last year that she vetoed, and it passed in the House, it passed in the Senate, and it was for giving judges not immunity anymore, so people could actually, sue them.
Yeah.
And she vetoed it, and I went and read why. I like to go down these rabbit holes, and I was kind of like, and her reasoning was because that would just open up the door to too many unlawful lawsuits.
Yeah, it's insane. The things that she does is just.
I was like, holding a person accountable in their job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot wrong with, in my opinion, with Katie Hobbs and Chris Mays and how they're running things. I mean, the access Medicaid fraud issue is just one big area. But I mean, Arizona had a $2.5 billion fraud issue, and Chris Mays is on Fox 10 saying it's going to take her 10 years to figure it out. Like, that should, in my mind, how does it take 10 years to turn the faucet off?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it shouldn't, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult.
I like one thing you said in one of your videos. You said, like, how many times have I contacted my governor? Right, a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And I reached out. I probably send to all the legislators every few months a video of me talking, saying, I'm still here. I still don't have my kids. I still can't get into court. I still can't get trial. Nothing. I'm stuck. It's called temporary order land, where you can't appeal it. And they stick people there until their kids are grown out.
Wow.
And I do it all the time. And I have a few trickle in, right? A few reply back. And one person said, well, if you're going to talk about DCF or CPS, that's the governor's problem. I'm like, well, I've emailed the governor 5 million times and nothing.
Yeah.
So that's one of your videos.
Yes.
Tell me more about how you said that, because it really stuck to my heart.
Well, in the first 2 years of fighting this battle, because I didn't start social media until August 2nd of 25. Okay. So
isn't it crazy how fast you grow when you're actually speaking the truth and everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. Because I didn't start mine until 2 months after my kids were taken. So May of 2024.
Yeah.
And it's not saying I'm good. It's the fact that that's just how bad it is.
No, it
how
is.
Many people are dying.
Well, people are scared to talk.
Yes.
And I always tell them they should be, because I've been retaliated against quite a bit since speaking out. But prior to 8/2, I did everything privately, but I was definitely advocating at the same level, but privately. So I was reaching out to news stations. I was reaching out to Katie Hobbs, Chris Mays. I was driving myself down to the AG's office. I was meeting and directly with the OIG without attorneys, because I felt like I still had attorneys, but attorneys too long.
There you go. For a second.
Okay. I felt attorneys were always with me, but it was just too long. I wanted to work directly with Access. So for 8 months I made a lot of headway, and then they cut me off. I mean, it was just, for an innocent provider as myself, it was infuriating to me that this happened, but also I just knew that there was something going on in the system, because there was no explanation as to why they did that to me.
Right.
because I'm a good provider. I mean,
and you said that's one thing you said in your video is I want to be a person that responds back.
well, I will always respond back.
Have fun, because I can't do my people. I was like, oh, but you would have a team, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't have a team. I mean, I have people that help me, but we don't get paid for this. This is all free bono.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really like that you will. I love that you even looked at me straight. And you're like, I will respond, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I will respond. And that's what I keep telling people in the chats too, is like, try to talk to some other candidate for governor. They're not going to respond to you. You know, some people like Katie Hobbs, obviously, when she was elected, you know, there's people that support her, but I encourage them to reach out to her. Mm-hmm. She won't answer you. You know, I was told by Katie's team that Katie reviews things and she talks to those who she wants to. Sort of, you know, summarizing what they said, but that's how it sounds to a person and you're talking about a human being that was legitimately begging for her life and the life of her company, the life of her patients remaining, the life of her employees. And these people watched me suffer, literally, on a large scale. And that's infuriating to me, that human beings watch people suffer like that.
And then they just don't care.
Yeah, because it was suffering.
And that's where, you know, it's just my 5 children that are suffering. I'm suffering. But I didn't realize so many more people were going through what I'm going through. And you are just one entity that affects thousands of people. They're mental, right?
Yes.
And that just blows my mind. You're just one. How many more are there in different states?
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot in Arizona, absolutely. And I'm sure it runs wild in other states as well. There has to be rule changes and federal guideline changes regarding how they suspend and terminate providers and Medicaid agencies. The problem is that when you suspend, terminate, exclude like this, and what they're doing in Arizona, we aren't going to have providers left because it's so risky to have a business serving Medicaid. If drop of a dime, they can just do this to you.
Are they doing this to like medical doctors or hospitals? Or
Okay. No, not hospitals. No. I mean,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, not hospitals. Yeah, it's pigeonholed to really just a select, it seems like a select.
Mental health?
Well, it's all behavioral health, yes.
Jeez.
It's all behavioral health.
And while and sorry if you don't agree with this, but while we had locked our children up for a whole years ago and told them to not do anything and be stuck in front of screens, and my daughter at that time was in 6th grade, you know how hard that was for for all those boys and girls that sat home for a year?
I know.
And now they're all older, and now like the government's now trying to stop you guys from helping? Like, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we were a huge COVID provider during the pandemic. I mean, we grew very fast in the pandemic because we were one of the only providers going into facilities to provide medical services and psychiatric services. So, I mean, that's just what's so infuriating is you spend your life and your company's life on serving their members, and they treat you like, you know, the system treats you like this and treats the patients like this, right? Because we had over 10,000 Medicaid patients, I mean, that we serviced. I mean, the patients were cut off first and foremost from these good providers.
And I honestly think behavioral health and all of it is so crucial. I don't think it's helped enough. I don't think it's promoted enough. Meaning like in the schools, and they just blame somebody instead of you needed some help, you know, especially the courts. Have you worked with courts and divorces at all? Just curious.
I've worked with families as a therapist, but not in the courts specifically. But Sherry Lund, who is a huge advocate, has been doing it for years. She and I are connecting on my candidacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I found that all the same providers work with the same psychiatrists, same lawyers, same judges, and whoever the judge or attorneys want to side with, they all follow to demolish that person. I've seen it to men and women. multiple.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen that at all in your area.
I haven't seen it specifically, but I know it's happening. I can't speak on it directly, only because I wouldn't want to say it out of line. But again,
you're not a part of that.
No, I'm not a part of that. But Sherry Ann is a huge advocate, and it's a huge area of what my focus is or will be as she kind of helps.
I think that's one thing people want to ask too, like, because my followers are all victims of family court.
Yeah.
And that's where I had to ask that question, because you have to go as governor saying, I was not a part of that. I do not agree with that. What is your take on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't agree with what's happening in family courts. That there's a lot more, I think, that is happening too. I think that there's kickbacks occurring and to people and high up officials and those things that, you know, I don't have proof of that, but that's what people are indicating, right? That there's a lot of money flowing through the system, and there's not a lot of understanding where that money is going and why and what's happened. You know, money holds people to doing things. So I absolutely want to dismantle and make sure that the court systems in Arizona are working well. So when do you get to see them again?
If you think about it, 11 months went by and my kids never got to see me, talk to me, say goodbye, nothing. Long story short, by the time I saw my twins, you know, the night before they were taken, they were all snuggled in my bed. I have pictures laughing. And then the next time I see them, they got brainwashed for 11 months. And I walk into the room and they all looked at me like I was this horrible mom. And right before they left, they were hugging on me, sleeping with me, snuggling with me. But 11 months goes by, they're angry at me because they're being told I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. They're being told I did this. They're being told that, you know, it's your mom's fault that you're not seeing her. So they're so angry.
Yeah.
But my one son, Tristan, he's always been the kid that got in the car and be like, all the kids would be like, Mom, Dad said this, Mom, Dad said that. And Tristan would be like, guys, what's truth? Look at Mom. That's not true. And he always had that level head to not be manipulated or lied to.
Yeah.
So long story short, we keep talking about, we kept seeing each other once a week for an hour. And then finally, when the reunification therapist, Dan Livingston, said that he's never seen one thing of abuse. There's been nothing wrong. My kids have never said it. And even during our sessions I had to pay a lot of money for, he just sat there and worked on his computer while me and Tristan just caught up.
Yeah.
But we're finally able to do supervised visits, which I don't know why, because he hasn't seen anything, but more money. And then out of nowhere, Dan was told that I'm sharing our sessions online. And I've never done that.
Oh, wow.
And he just canceled me and he was gone. So nothing. Zero.
Wow.
And I filed a motion with the judge, but the judges here get 120 days to respond.
Yeah. Wow.
So
in Kansas or in Arizona?
Kansas. This is Kansas. And the other crazy thing, I have a divorce decree that's over 80 pages or 30 pages long.
Yeah.
And Kansas won't acknowledge the Missouri divorce decree. So what's the point of a divorce decree if no one's going to see it?
Wow.
You know? So it's like, so my story is just a little different because I have proof of my ex's abuser and all that.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, Sherry Ann put bills into place to protect families. And yet the judges are not following what the written bill is.
Right. There is actually, last year when I started doing this, there was somebody that was running for office in Arizona. And I remember he's like, we're passing this family bill. I went and looked up the bill and I was like, wait, the bill says that the judge gets the ultimate decision. So you're telling me I need to go ask the judge for my family rights, but it's the same judge that is not honoring my rights. Didn't make any sense. But it was almost like a tactic. He was advertising, I'm running, I'm going to save the families, but go look at the bill.
Yes. So that's part of the issue now is addressing, I'm trying to find the bill that she did. I just asked in a chat to her, but the judges aren't even following the law regarding family court.
This is talking with your stuff too, because you're not in family court.
No, I'm not in family court, but it's
they're
the level
still not following the law outside of family court, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so the exclusion list, for instance, in the Medicaid system, that exclusion list, people aren't supposed to be placed on that exclusion list until the finality of their of their appeal is complete, right? So the fact that Arizona has an exclusion list that they created to be public is there's no statute that protects that or allows that.
So it's kind of like, so people understand, it's kind of like not giving you due process.
There's no due process.
Okay.
You go through, it sounds like similar what I'm learning from Sherry and from you now too, but similar to these court systems that there's no due process and they're not following the rules that are set up to follow. I mean, it's just like, that's why I want to be governor, is because somebody needs to be doing the right thing. And that's why I'm doing grassroots, because I don't want corporations funding me, because I believe that corporations
are part of it.
If not part of it, at least determine
what gets passed and what doesn't get passed.
What gets passed and which doesn't. Because if a corporation is giving a candidate, I mean, and you don't, in my opinion, you don't need millions of dollars from corporations to run for governor. I mean, you just don't.
Can you explain, because I do want to go into that, can you explain what grassroots means if people don't understand what that means?
Yeah, so grassroots means that I'm not funded by any corporations. I'm a human being coming into this race. I'm not a politician. I mean, they're human beings too, but they're very much aligned with the political, which I'm not. I'm aligned with the people voting, and I have their best interests. And I'm running on the donations of people or small businesses, LLCs, but not corporations. And I won't take money from corporations.
Cool. That's what it means. And
yeah.
So when I saw one of your videos the other day that a news station had all the people running and they didn't even call you.
Yeah, Fox 10. Fox 10 has been an interesting struggle, I think, for me. They aired in 2023. They started airing a series called The Sober Living Crisis in Arizona, which publicized in a big way what was happening in Arizona regarding the fraud. But what happened to good providers such as myself and others, it destroyed our image. And it was, I mean, when those things aired weekly I don't even know, there's dozens of clips, right? It was a huge thing, everyone watching it. And so to me, I mean, I went to bed crying because I was broadcast as, I mean, one time they even were showing the list and they didn't point me out or anything. It wasn't like intentional to put my name on there, but I was on my name and my company on the news, you know? And so it was just so infuriating. And then I reached out to Fox 10. I see the chat too. Are those people like private?
Those are just my two Liz.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, they're just my people. They help me think of questions.
Oh, good. Okay. I wasn't sure. So it's infuriating to think that this was happening. I reached out to Fox 10 to Justin Lum in 2024, which I had that email. I did a video on it. And I just said, hey, there's another side of the story. There's good providers that are being netted in the system. This happened to me. I was flagged because of software error. I didn't commit fraud, waste, or abuse. Can I tell my story? Just stories of so many others. And no response. When I first started talking online on social media in August, I did talk about Justin Lum not reaching back out to me. He reached out to me and he's been very kind to me. And so I did want to, and talking with me behind the scenes a little bit, but they still won't take a story. And the live with Katie Hobbs, a Democrat in Arizona, when there's 3 running candidates for Republican, then I'm a running candidate who's coming up. I'm getting signatures now. I'm not I think they all got their signatures already with nomination papers or whatever, but regardless, I'm still a candidate. And I had several people in social media reach out to them and no response. So why does the media not want to tell both sides of the story when there's two sides?
Right. Well, and I think they don't want the truth. right? It's
Yeah,
the same
they want
reason
one side.
why, right? They don't want one side, and it's the same thing of family courts. No news station will talk about family courts. Have you heard of anything talked about in the news besides if someone, you know, gets killed or somebody, you know, there's
Right.
a child dying? That's the only time they talk about CPS or the agency,
Yeah.
or family court. And so it's because they don't want people to realize that these judges are completely controlling our whole life. And I think that's one question Liz asked, and I think it goes back to the governor or you have to make the judges be accountable.
Yeah. So making sure the laws are followed and bringing, I mean, it comes to creating agendas and oversight into these places. And I think a complete overhaul and dismantling the system and getting in there and figuring out the issues. I think part of the issue is that, you know, our AG of Arizona and those things, the complaints are being put to, but there's strong evidence that they just sit on the desk.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it goes back to that one bill that I found that was just last year. So if you get in, please go take that out. I mean, go put that back in.
Oh, I think we went out.
Oh, can you not hear me?
I want to say, so I did put the question to Sherry Lund, and she said due process. So parental alienation is a big problem for the opposite parent. She said, yes, due process. The parent alienating a child must have clear and convincing evidence to prove justification or they're sanctioned and pay the other parent's legal fees. If the abuse continues, jail the alienating parent.
Is that her bill that she's trying to put in?
She already did a bill. Let me ask her to bill what bill.
Yeah, because I'd like to. That's cool. Because that's what they're trying to pass right now in the Family Justice Accountability Act and federal.
These judges are breaking the laws and damaging families. So, I mean, when I think about, we're not thinking about the systems working and following rules, right?
Right.
That's what's happening. So when I see a question like, how, as a governor, how will I make the courts follow the rules? I mean, I think it has to do with also the AG sitting next to the governor, right? I think there has to be some accountability and publicity about these things happening. To me, it doesn't seem as far-fetched. It's not like we have a system where people are following rules.
Right.
They're not.
Right. They're not.
So it's a much simpler process. If you had, the problem is we have a governor, in my opinion, in AG's office, in my opinion, are just as corrupt as these systems.
Yep.
And therefore, you have to replace them in order to ensure that the agencies and courts are doing right. So in my mind, it's simple. It's business oriented, right? My mind goes to how to run a business. You don't keep the top players in the seat.
Right.
When the state and the agencies are being destroyed. I mean, it's like,
and they all protect the agencies.
Well,
agencies are all getting money.
Who goes first if the Cardinals aren't winning games?
Right.
It's the coach.
Right. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Get out. You're out of there.
So I don't know. I think it's like, I don't think that I see the questions, but I think it's in my mind, it's a lot easier in my mind to think about. It's like, well, if you have a governor and an AG that is not corrupt.
Well, and I don't think people
problem solved.
Oh, I know. And it trickles down.
Problem solved. I mean, it's
like,
put another person in there or keep these two in there. It's like problems will continue. I mean, you don't keep, everyone knows our state is suffering, and these two people are at the very top of the state.
It's like the general manager and the coach.
Yeah. I mean, the problems exist there. So I think that's my first thing is if I get into office, being able to override and understand what's going on. There's a lot that the public doesn't know, right? There's a lot of, you don't know the problems until you get in there and understand and start making changes to ensure that proper rules are being followed. And I think it's a lot simpler. Mm-hmm. They just need to follow the rules.
Right. And be held accountable. and be held accountable.
And
Yeah.
impeached when they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone, vote out that judge. The judges do not need to be on the same seat for too long.
Yeah.
Because they just get more and more corrupt and more coming in. They get them out. So in
That's
Alabama,
right.
there's a mom that just got in jail for 10 days. Her name's Megan. I don't know if you know the story. But just because all she did was, and I talked to her in jail almost every other day, but all she did was put on social media one time that the family court's corrupt. That's it. The family court. She never said her judge.
Yeah.
And her ex hired a private investigator when she's selling bracelets, trying to get money for an attorney for her 4 daughters to see them because she hadn't seen them.
Yeah.
A private investigator comes in and asks her questions and recorded her, and they showed the judge, and the judge threw her in jail for 10 days.
Wow.
Because she did that privately with somebody. Like, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't run stories unless I dissect and figure it out, because there are bad parents out there. There really are. But
there's bad providers out there too, and that's why. Right. Yeah. So my focus on, I've been asked to, like, there's a lot of people committing fraud too, right, Teri? And I said yes, but when you protect and make changes regarding due process, even a criminal should have due process.
Yes.
And therefore, I don't need to dissect who's good, who's bad to say that the system needs due process.
You are so spot on, because that's where everyone's fighting about who's like this. It just needs due process. That's
due
it.
Process.
And I had due process.
Well, just like in the courts, the judges need to be impeached if they don't follow the law. Mm-hmm. Just don't even. It's like, and a governor and an AG's office who's going to work cohesively together to remove corruption as much as possible. And I'm sure there's more than anybody has any idea, other than the people internally in there.
Well, and I don't think people realize the attorney general, they're the ones that are the attorneys for the agencies.
Yeah.
And the judges. When I filed against my judge in Superior Court, guess who his attorney was? My attorney.
Well, when I started speaking out, Access made complaints to my licensing board, 4 complaints about my social media. The licensing board on 9/2, before the complaints were made, Toby Zavala, who's the executive, guess who she's under? Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs, and their attorney is the AG's office, Mona Baskin. Right. So they come after me. They tell me, remove your site, or we're going to bring a board complaint against you. And I said, it's freedom of speech. I can talk. And my lawyer said she can continue to talk. There's nothing wrong with what she's saying. Well, then in 3 weeks, I had 4 complaints from Access family members upset, like bogus complaints with non-merit. The board should have never opened, but they did anyways. Then they gave me a 7-day, we're gonna call you to a hearing on 10/10 to see if you need a psychological evaluation. Didn't allow me to have an attorney present, despite my attorney being right next to me, wouldn't let him speak. And because he wasn't yet pro hoc vice in Arizona, which he is now, we didn't have enough time. So he's sitting right next to me, and they disallow him to talk. Then they take a vote on whether or not I am allowed to have a lawyer, or if they're going to continue the hearing. So they vote 4-3 that I don't get a lawyer. 4 times I say, I don't feel safe to talk, I want a lawyer. I mean, then they bring up all this. Mind you, this is not connected to any complaint. I have nothing in front of me. I've been given no evidence as to why I'm here. This whole thing is recorded. And
wow.
And then they
so similar. It's insane.
They order a psychological evaluation on me. And I'm like, so we filed a lawsuit to stay the order, and we filed a lawsuit against the board as well, because what they did to me was wrong, and they're still fighting it.
Well, and so people know, her attorney is from California, so he had to get a right to be able to practice in Arizona to represent her, and that's what she said.
Yes. And the bill is SB 1291.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Okay.
So that's where this is back to this can happen to anybody. Your
It can
story is my
happen
story.
to anyone.
Even though
Yes.
my children are gone, your business, your whole life is gone like
Yes.
mine. It doesn't matter. They're stripping our rights away like
Yes.
that. And we have no one. Thankfully, you have an attorney that's stepping up for you. I can't find one in my area because even though every civil rights attorney saw my lawsuits that I wrote, they're like, keep going. But they don't want to go against this entity here because Johnson County, where I live, is by Kansas City. It's in Kansas. I'm 5 miles right from Missouri. So, but Johnson County is the richest Midwest is the richest county in the Midwest. So it's kind of like the LA.
Yeah.
So all the money's here. And we are the ones that vote in the only Democrat governor that's really corrupt. Not judging just Democrats, because I think there's good Democrats, but she is not. But so where I'm at is it's so much.
Yes.
And you tell people don't. And I agree with you, but we have to have more people stand up.
Yeah.
And tell the truth. And if they're too scared, share your stuff, right? Or share my stuff. But this is happening to you. Same story. They made me get a psych evaluation after they took my kids.
Wow.
And I was like, you just did one a year ago. And they said I was way too positive of a person to be real. And then they won't even honor my therapist that I've had for 13 years that I love. Oh, you don't have a therapist? Yeah, I do. Talk to her. Her name's right here. Here's her credentials. But then they made me go back after I took my kids. Why? It won't match. You took my children away. I haven't seen them or talked to them in 4 months by that time. So it's the same thing happening. It's not just in the court.
Yeah.
Our stories are like.
Yeah, I know. I watched your stuff too.
It's insane. I'm just shocked by when you're talking. So anyway, I'm sorry to keep talking.
It's good.
But it really makes my heart happy not happy because it's sad, right?
Yeah.
But you standing up, you running for governor, you saying enough's enough.
Yeah.
And speaking out is very hard because you're going to get a lot of haters.
I know.
And a lot of made up stuff. So be careful because that's going to start coming. I have a whole, my ex hired a posse.
Yep.
We get bots all the time coming in. And they called it Stand Down Meg.
Oh.
And they're just complete lies. And I have all the evidence. I have proof of the letter that I was a great mother, proof that I didn't give my daughter weed. I gave her CBD oil when she was freaking out, right? I have the police reports. I have everything, right? So I don't really care, but I want to tell you this. You're going to have a lot of made up crap.
Oh, yeah. My team's already told me that. And I'm like, I think I had to get to this place of losing everything. And where I'm just like, my voice isn't so important. And there's so much wrong happening in Arizona and in our country. I'm focused on Arizona, that at this point I'll take it, right? I have to take it in order to move forward because I'm scared of what's going to happen if any of these other people get into the office or Katie Hobbs stays put. Well,
and that's you're right, and that's what to take everything. What else can you lose?
What else can you lose? I mean, yeah.
And stand tall in that because. So what is one word of advice you would give somebody to maybe stand up in their own state to run for something to help change instead of, to me, it's like everyone just complaining about it. We need to stand. Well, what can someone do?
I think when we see people, I think when you see systems or people hurting, I think standing up doesn't always have to be public as much as it needs to be. It can be public, but some people are very scared to do that, right? Rightfully so. But you can do other things. You can write, your legislation. You can write anonymous people. You can tell your story to an influencer who will tell it anonymously. You can make known and connect with other people and coalitions that are speaking out. So that the issue and then supporting missions, right? Supporting people that are moving forward on the agendas that you're focused on.
And I think that's one thing too. I know people are scared, and I get it. And so there's like you said, there's so many things you can do.
I think you have to. Like I told people, be prepared if you go public, right? I think. The reason why I say that is because I waited until I lost everything to speak public because I knew that the risk was so high to be attacked. And when you have something like a business or things that you're protecting, right, to continue your life in a positive way, you don't want to, privately standing up is great, but publicly it's like sometimes the steam is really hot and the systems are retaliating on a large scale in Arizona. And people are losing everything. I mean, there's people that went on the news and did stories, and weeks later they lost their businesses. The Senate Senator Warner talked about in the 10-1, and it's public hearing, it's recorded in the archive, but stated that the very next day after the hearing, somebody received a letter from Access that they were being audited. Well, they were one of the speakers and testified against them. So it's just in a way to deter people from talking. Well, these people have lives and families, and they don't have a lot of money to fight systems.
Right.
So they lose their job, or they become scrutinized in the public's eye by these horrible people and systems that are doing it. They're in a really bad spot.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I did have somebody, because I had somebody go on and say, my parents live in Arizona. She'll sign her ballot.
Oh, good.
So where is somebody where they can go to sign, and how many signatures do you need to have?
14,000.
14,000. And are you getting there slowly?
Well, our goal is end of 2025, and I have a team that's going to be working on it. Yeah. So yeah, we believe that we'll get 14K signatures in order to get onto the ballot.
But the power with standing up, though, do you feel mentally better because you're standing up?
It's therapeutic. Every time I feel down, I speak out. So to me, I'm like, I'm never going to stop this because it's therapeutic to me. I'm getting to help people. I'm talking about the issues that the media doesn't want to talk about. That's also very important because the media, that's another reason why I went social media, because I felt like the media wasn't willing to tell the other side of the story.
Right. So
it was infuriating. Why is the media not wanting to tell the other side of the story?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And that's my one thing. It's therapeutic for me. Everyone's like, I don't know how you're so strong. I said, I'm strong because it's therapeutic, and also helping people helps me. And also hearing other people's stories.
Yes.
Like it's hard. It's easier almost to fight for other people's kids than my own, because I get all emotional. I can't talk about it. But if I'm thinking about other people's kids, I'm mama bears out there, because my kids all just break down and start crying. And I'm glad that's probably the first one I haven't cried about my kids. I'm trying to stay away from it.
When's the last time you saw them?
I saw Tristan right after his birthday in August. And my twins I haven't seen since April. And then I haven't seen my older two because they got completely told lies. I mean, they're told like I'm on OnlyFans and all this weird stuff that I'm not. But I haven't seen them since January of 2024. Yeah. And I had them 80% full-time mom, never picked a man over them because I didn't want to blend families. Like, they've always just known me. They've never even seen a man in my bed because I always just put my life into them because I knew they're little for so short, And I knew one day I'll find a man when they're teenagers. So, they've only known just me and them.
Yeah.
But their dad is a millionaire and, money wins. So, but they'll come back. I know they'll come back. I got 10 years of great, great memories. And I know they'll come back. So I just look one day for the truth to come out and them be able to see the truth. But until then, I'm trying to change this for everybody.
Yeah. And that was 2024 when it happened to you?
Yeah, January. So it's almost to be 2 years coming up. What's the point of having a due process, a decree? It's kind of like you have proof, right?
Yes.
You're innocent, but they're still holding you in, just like me. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. It's so infuriating.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. And then you just go online and talk about it because it's freeing to say what these people are doing to try to help others. And
they are. And that's one thing. I knew I was going to be doing this one day. God always told me that because I knew, how can someone be in court for so long? Because right after court, I was in court. He never stopped.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, I'll wait till the kids are gone and they're adults.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, God's like, oh, no, you're doing it now. So the best thing that happened to me, my kids were taken away so I can do this, right? It's not what I want. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, that's what I always say too. This is not the path I wanted. I wanted my business.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to, run. This was not in the plan to run for governor.
I don't pay attention.
I did not want to do social media, but this is where I had to be, and I know God has me on this path. So, yeah. So I give it 100%.
And I used to be blonde and beautiful blonde like you.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Well, it's just so funny because that was what I did after I got divorced. You know how they do sometimes something crazy? I went blonde because my ex wouldn't let me dye my hair. And I love my blonde. And my daughters were always begging me to not be blonde. And I said, sorry, if hell freezes over, because this reminds me of my ex. But then once they got taken, my stress went through the roof and my hair fell out. So I had to not dye it anymore. So I went natural. It's all natural now. But look how much God has made my hair grow since. I mean, it was here, like fall thin, and now God is just. But I feel like He's had to create someone new. Yeah. You know, like I don't know if you feel that way, but you've had to like come into something new and say, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, every day I have to say, okay. I mean, I know I'm on. It's like David and Goliath, right? I mean, it's like I get that I'm David, and in the aspect when he was a young boy and the smallest, and then he beat Goliath, right? I mean, all these stories that reflect where I'm at, I'm like, okay, I don't understand how this is going to happen, but God's put on my heart to be here.
God strips everything away from you, and my, like you and me, even my hair, and that's a beauty of a woman, right? My kids, my house, my family, my job, everything gone. Like you.
Yes.
Your hair, thank God. But not your kids. But
when I was sober 17 and a half years ago, my hair went too.
So did it? Okay, yeah. So you know what it's like.
It stripped me of my beauty and my hair and
yeah. And when everything gets stripped away, there's only one way to go, and that's where we have to go, David and Goliath, and fight no matter what. God will put things into your life that you never thought you like laughing probably 5 or 10 years ago. If someone said, hey, just so you know, you're going to be running for governor, what would you have said?
Yeah, there's no way.
You would have been like,
yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So what's your website again?
USA Advocate for All.
Okay.
Yeah, .org.
Okay.
And that's my handle too.
Thank you so much today. I've really, really enjoyed talking with you, and to find another person dealing with the same court system struggles. It means a lot to finally meet someone that maybe doesn't have the family court story, but she has the exact same story dealing with the courts, and the courts having the right to take away. They don't have the right. They take away our lives. And I really appreciate you coming on. Everyone needs to go follow. And if you live in Arizona, know anyone around Arizona, please have them go sign. If you please go share, I'm going to email out as well, but you'll see down below a way for you to go to her website to sign the petition so she can get on the ballot. She needs so many thousands of signatures from people in Arizona. So please share. We need real people in our government. Stop letting the government, money, companies control our lives. We, the people, have the right to stand up and say enough is enough. And I love the quote, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there's freedom.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Stand With Meg. Check back next time. Bye. If you believe Arizona deserves leaders who fight for families, who confront corruption, and who refuses to stay silent, then stand with her. Go to usaadvocatesforall.org. Sign the petition if you're in Arizona. If you know somebody in Arizona, please send them the website to sign. Because together, we are defending parents' rights, protecting our children, and being the voice for the voiceless. Until next time, Stand With Meg.